So Joe is making noises because he knows he has to talk about Toy Story
I'm getting my
now.
throat exercises in.
Toy Story make Joe go.
Mr. Pinkle Prance.
Go ahead, Joe.
Okay, hi, hello. I saw Toy Story 4.
No
Tell me
spoilers
this
again.
thing.
I can't do spoilers, which is really sad because I think there's a lot of digest in this movie.
We can do a quick follow up afterwards.
Yeah, it's a shame because I would have watched both this and Spider. I was originally going to watch both this and Spider-Man last week if I wasn't going to be gone for a week.
Yeah. Bradley got stolen.
I got
That's why
stolen.
we recorded last time. But anyways,
Kidnapped.
Spider-Man 4. Toy Story 4. God, how do I explain this? It's Toy Story 4 is about growing old.
Oh shit! They
Oh,
already did
shit.
up.
Yeah. And it's kind of like the whole plotline of this movie is that Woody is going through the realization that he is a toy that is obsolete. Like he's not fun. He's not like Buzz that's like a spaceman and like it's kind of still like new and has his own toy line still and has his own flavor. He
Yum.
since he's with Bonnie, Bonnie's more like Bonnie being a girl like is more attentive to like the female characters that she has or like the more like animal characters that she has. So it's like Woody gets like stuck thrown in the closet the entire time and is just left behind. And
Wait
it's
a minute, this is just the first movie all over again.
Now this one's I already there's something different about this one because it's like, well, I mean, Andy would always love Woody because they had that rapport, but like introducing Woody to a new kid, they'd be like, "What is this?
Yeah,
I
like,
have a
really-
Game Boy Advance. Why would I play with Woody?"
Yeah, it's like with Buzz, like, in the first movie, it was just, Buzz is the new toy. Obviously, Andy wants to play with this toy he got for his birthday, and he obviously still loved Woody. But Woody's with a totally new kid now, and it could entirely be the case that this kid just doesn't really care for cowboy toys.
yeah, she loves Jesse, but like
Oh
I
Fuck
think
Woody.
but I think it's more of the fact that Jesse's a strong, independent character. But so a lot of it's growing old, and it's the main thing that's kind of like our inciting incident is Bonnie goes to school and makes Forky, and Forky comes to life, and Forky is having an existential crisis with himself because he's trash that's been given Frankenstein life essentially.
there's such a can of worms that opens up when you think about that.
And
Oh, yeah.
there's a whole other can of worms I might get into later. I don't know if I
Ooh.
want to bring it up or not, but like, so, anyways, so like Woody's big thing is like Forky means the world to Bonnie because it's essentially like the only toy she can like bring to school and not get in trouble for. So to him, it's like that's my goal is to make sure Bonnie is happy by any means possible, which is by like making sure this toy doesn't commit suicide every second.
Jesus.
Woody's such a good guy.
And I think it really there are parts in the movie that really show like how selfless Woody is in this movie. Like one example for is it's late at night and like Bonnie has like Forky like in her hand and like is going to sleep, but like Forky like squirms out and tries to jump in the trash can, and Woody's in the trash can all night just throwing him up there.
Oh, man.
And there's one part, and I forget why he goes up there, but he finally climbs up there, and Forky like gets the better of him and like jumps down, jumps to the trash can, and Bonnie just grabs a hold of him and like holds him tight, and you can see him struggle for a bit, but then he kind of like relaxes and is just like, this is what I actually want, and kind of just sleeps there with Bonnie as her toy, and you're kind of like, ooh, that it's a weird kind of like realization that Woody is trying to do something selfless, but like
I've been very confused, Joe, because you said selfishly selfless, and I'm trying to figure out which one you were trying to talk about.
He's trying to find meaning in his life with Bonnie,
Mm-hmm.
and so that meaning to him to make Bonnie happy is making sure Forky's in her life. But deep down, he just wants to be loved by Bonnie, and so he's trying to live vicariously through Forky.
Oh, man. That's
God
a
damn.
really cool angle to take.
That's
and
really good.
when I saw the trailers, the first time I ever saw Forky, like in that first second, I was like, oh no, if this if this movie gets into themes of suicide, this is going to be very sad for me.
I think it gets into themes of autism.
Okay.
Um, about half, I went and saw the movie with my parents, which I thought was very fitting because I saw the first Toy Story with my parents.
That's very cute.
I sat between them in the middle of them like a small child. But I remember like halfway through the movie, for my dad leans over and looks at my mother, and I goes like, "Is he supposed to be autistic?"
Jeez, he just yelled it.
Yeah, basically.
I could just picturing your dad from what I've seen. That's a scene right there. But so one thing I've heard is that like Forky is not annoying, which is surprising because I, as well as other people, were super worried about this movie, and one of the reasons was I thought this character would be really annoying.
Yeah.
But it turns out he seems pretty well thought out.
I think so. I think you're right. I think part of that too is that he's not in it very long. Like he doesn't have a lot of screen time compared to Woody, Buzz, and some of the other new toys that come up, like Bo Peep. Bo
Peep.
That's the weird thing is when I initially saw the trailers, I feel like I was way more impressed and excited by the trailers than I feel like most people were. I know a lot of people who are like, oh man, I don't know about this. Like, oh, Forky looks dumb. And like, I saw the trailer and it made me really excited for this movie. And I was like, man, there's a lot of depth and directions you could go with Forky.
I was worried about Bo Peep too, but I heard she's fantastic in this.
No,
she's not.
No, she's great. I love her. Sorry, I just got a message. Forky is in it for like a good part of the first half of the movie, and then kind of is, for plot reasons, it's not shown for like a good portion of the second half of the movie, but only in like small clips and scenes. There's, like, I think this movie does a really good job in like, I think something that Toy Story has done really well in like the first three movies, I think 4 does it pretty good too, is that it has a good understanding of where the people who have seen this are in their lives.
Jesus.
Like as kids. Because like when Toy Story 3 came out, that was when I was about to go to college.
Yeah.
So it was like, and so like the ending scene with Andy packing up all of his stuff and like giving his toys away and everything. My mom was like bawling in the theater next to me during that scene.
Oh no.
Yeah. And this one like deals more with kind of like I said before, growing old and understanding of like, you know, your time has come and gone, and like trying to figure out what the rest of your life is going to be past your heyday deal. And even though it is past your heyday, that doesn't mean that it's nothing but bad times ahead of you.
Goddamn.
Yeah.
If they're like understanding the mindset that the audience is now, that's not a good thing, because we're all fucked. we're all struggling here.
I don't think I've reached my heyday yet. I think this jumped a little bit too far ahead in terms of like where its audience is, but I still think it's a good kind of movie for like its older audience, like older audience.
The parents that took the kids to see the movie. This one's for them.
Yeah, I think so. Because it is a lot about like retirement and understanding that like there's a next generation of toys and people coming.
How do they do it? They really don't cash grab this series, like they,
which is weird. Like,
which is weird. This is so cash grabbable.
And because this, when I saw Toy Story 4 was coming out, I was like, okay, Toy Story 3 ended really like solidly. Like it just was a pretty solid ending. This one I feel is a more of a cemented ending to like the storyline of the characters, but I think Toy Story 3 had a better thematic ending of what it is.
Yeah, it was more hopeful, I guess.
Yeah,
there was a bright future ahead of those toys, even if there was a bittersweet goodbye.
Mm-hmm. This one has the same kind of feeling. I think Bradley will absolutely cry at the end of this movie.
Easy money.
That's a safe bet. It's really weird, because I've been talking to, like last week as I was seeing family and stuff, I talked to people who have seen this movie, and I heard a lot of people say that this was their least favorite Toy Story movie.
I think it's mine too.
Yeah, it's yours too. And that's the weird thing is, obviously I haven't seen the movie myself, so I can't tell if the movie is like actually the worst one, or if it's just because it came after the god tier Toy Story 3.
Here's the
or
thing:
if
being
it's
the worst Toy Story, you're at least at like 9 out of 10. You know, like at that point.
It's not the worst Toy Story that it's bad. It's just because everything else I think before it is just really really good and resonates with people a lot more. But we'll see like how it is in time. Anything other parts of this movie? Key and Peele were hilarious in this movie.
Oh yeah, I forgot they were in this.
How's Keanu?
Keanu is so funny.
Good.
He's I like his character a lot. He's kind of a really ridiculous, over the top stuntman toy. And they know how these toys work. There's one character I want to talk about, but like
You know what? Don't. We've had a good convo. I think.
No, I want to talk about this character.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about that character on the follow up. We'll save it for that.
We're gonna hit this again.
Yeah. There's a character that was introduced, and when they introduced this character, it's like extremely dark and it's extremely creepy, and like you are very unsettled by this character like almost immediately, and like pretty much right off the gate, you immediately know what this character wants and its their motivations and desires. And you're just like, no, that's not something like it's but at the end of the movie, I'm just like, oh, that's how it's resolved.
Say no more, Joe. We got you.
Your mom.
I'll hurt you if you say more. That's why.
Anyways, Toy Story 4, I give it a 9 out of 10. Still not as good as Toy Story 3 or 1 or 2. In that order.
Guess we'll see about that. I really have to rewatch 2. That's the one I remember the least.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I had a Game Boy Color game for 2, so I played through that a lot back when I didn't have taste.
Yeah.
Or good games. Toy Story.
Got wood.
God. Did Woody reference his Xehanort beatdown in this one when he massacred Xehanort in Kingdom Hearts? Was that in this movie?
No, it's not. Although one thing,
that's the character Joe was talking about, Xehanort's.
Shit, young Xehanort's in this.
Something I realized in this movie, and this is more of an animation thing. Woody has a huge fucking head.
Yes, he does.
Like you don't realize it until this movie, and I think because like in the older movies, they kind of like position him in a way where his head doesn't look as huge, or it's just like the way he's shot. But like there are some close-ups that like you see his head and another toy's head like side by side. And you're like, oh my god, Woody looks like a clown. Like his head is so large.
Man.
But yeah, big head Woody.
Big head Woody knows that nobody ever loved you.
Yeah.
That's my boy.